under no circumstances can the police search you. That means that they have to be reasonable circumstances, and preferably under the Fourth Amendment accompanied by a warrant. Now, a warrant is a document signed by a judge agreeing that there's probable cause to search someone or someplace or to seize someone. And the idea behind that is that a judge is supposed to be a third-party neutral, who's not on the police side, who's not on the person's side, who objectively looks at the evidence and says, okay, that's enough evidence to give rise to probable cause to search or to arrest. Now, in the street, in the moment, a police officer doesn't have time to go back to a judge and to make his case and to get a signed piece of paper before he arrests you for walking in the street with your sign. And so there are exceptions. And one of the big exceptions is if a police officer sees you doing something criminal. If a police officer sees you doing something criminal, they have the right to arrest you. And if they arrest you, then they have the right to search you. However, there can be some question as to whether or not you're actually doing something illegal. A police officer can make an argument that you're doing something illegal, and they can certainly arrest you on the strength of that, no matter if the argument's bad. The important thing, which the NLG will probably get into in more detail, is that you don't waive your right to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. Say a police officer walks up to you and tells you to empty your pockets. If you just say, okay, and then you pull, say, 10 kilograms of cocaine out of your pockets, then that's a legit bust because you consented to that search. The police officer asked and you said, okay. Now, the important magic words to know in the Fourth Amendment are, I do not consent to this search. That won't stop the police from searching you. That won't make it so they can't search you, but that preserves your rights so that if later on, God forbid, you get arrested and you're on trial on criminal charges, a smart attorney can come and say, this person didn't consent to this search, and the police didn't have probable cause to search. So, the fruits of that search, the thing they found, should be excluded. Now, this doesn't mean that you should be rude to the police, because that can be bad for your health. I highly recommend that you do not sass police officers who have you in restraints. But what it does mean is that you can politely stand up for your rights. You say, I do not consent to this search. You don't say, fuck you, cop. You say, I do not consent. And that is enough to preserve the record. Make sure that you take notice of who's around. Be safe, be sensible. Now, the Fourth Amendment also applies to entries into homes. And that warrant requirement that we were talking about earlier has been held that it is presumptively invalid to search someone's home without a warrant. If you get arrested on the street and somebody searches your person, because you're under arrest for something, it's presumptively valid search. The basic idea is that since you're under arrest, it's okay. However, a police officer going into your home, if they don't have a warrant, the burden is on them to show that they had some important reason to do that. Now, here, nobody is at home. Everybody here is living in public to some extent or another. And so that means that your expectation of privacy is limited. That means that you don't have as much of an expectation as you would in your home that your private life will be kept private. So be sensible, be smart. Don't do illegal things in front of cops because, frankly, going to jail sucks. Now, I'll be happy to answer questions and to go into rights more, but I don't want to slow down the open mic, which has been wonderful. So everybody, please give a hand to your open mic coordinators. And I'll be around to answer questions all day. Thank you very much.